Oh, 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 oh.
Welcome to Multiple O's, the spin-off podcast for The O Show. The O Show is hosted by Dr. Oriana Fox, the artist with a PhD in self-disclosure. You hopefully know the spiel by now. If you're interested in candid confessions, creativity, nonconformity, and mental health, you've come to the right place. This, my friends, is season 2 of this podcast, which explores the crossover between working on the self and working to change the world. Have you ever said to yourself, I love that Oriana Fox makes art all the time? Well, if you have, now you can say it with your wallet. Go to patreon.com/Oriana Fox and support this lovely podcast and artist. Back in May, that's May 2021, Oriana was invited to do a digital residency on Instagram for the lovely Mimosa House Gallery in London. And over the course of 1 week, she conducted 20 interviews. It was live, it was unfiltered, and uninhibited. Whew. But now, they're being re-released as podcast episodes, edited for your listening pleasure.
Hi there, this is Oriana. Thank you to my returning listeners. Thank you to my new listeners. I really appreciate your support. And I just want to remind you that you can help people find this podcast, not only by recommending it to friends, but also by rating and reviewing. You can do that wherever you listen to your podcast, so things like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Quick announcement that things have changed. You probably noticed I'm not speaking with Ursula Martinez as promised at the end of last episode. I said we'd have a brand spanking new episode with Ursula Martinez, and I did speak with Ursula, and I had a wonderful conversation with her, which I got a lot out of, but I'm not able to share that with you as yet. So please do listen out for any updates about that, which I will share in due course. In the meantime, we'll return to the pre-recorded Instagram Live interviews, which fortunately for you means yet another in a series of encounters with provocative women performance artists. Next up is the insatiable, sexy, and weird Eirini Kartsaki. Enjoy.
Welcome to the O Show. Live edition at Mimosa House. I am your host, Oriana Fox, and I am very pleased to be welcoming a special guest. All my guests are special, but this one is an award-winning performance artist who has shown her work across gallery, performance, theater, dance contexts, academic contexts, including Tate Britain, Palais de Tokyo, The Yard, Theater, Arnolfini, the list goes on. And she addresses provocative subject matter, including female desire, promiscuity, sexually transmitted diseases, not wanting to have children, and monstrosity and weirdness. Without further ado, I bring you, direct from Greece, Eirini Kartsaki.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, thank you. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just stage this. Okay. Can you see some cleavage?
Yes. I thought, in honor of you and our, is that how we met actually?
Through my cleavage, yeah. You don't, my cleavage introduced us, don't you remember? Said, here is Oriana, here is Eirini Kartsaki, and we became best friends afterwards. Hi, Harris, my friends are joining. Hi, everyone.
No, I meant a naked workshop.
Oh, naked workshop. We did do that. Yes.
Was that how we met? In our naked workshop with Orit Asheri.
Orit Asheri, yes. What was it called? Naked as a Jaybird.
Yeah, so I thought, I'm giving the illusion, like, I thought I'd
that's
give the illusion.
That's totally, yeah, let me see a little bit more clear. Beautiful, Oriana, beautiful. You need to allow us to see a little bit of this bit as well.
I need to?
Just, yeah, that's
it's hard
like,
to hold it. And,
yeah.
since my
You can
blinds
also
are wide open and...
press together. Sometimes that affects.
Ooh,
like,
that's effective. Okay.
Yeah. There you go. Nice to see you. Hi.
So nice to see you, too. So I have
Thanks for inviting me. Yeah, we're here. We're live. I'm in my house. I'm going crazy. Nobody's calling me to say like, oh, do you want to go out? Do you want to like not have children? Do you want to talk about, you're like, weird shit and, nobody's calling me. So everyone that's listening, please call me and tell me you want to listen to all this. And I've got something I want to say, but I will wait until you,
say it.
Facilitate.
Go ahead and say it. What's the thing you want to say, please?
Okay, so I want to say a couple of things. I am writing a manifesto on weirdness, and I have the first page of this weirdness, and I was wondering if you wanted to listen to it.
Yes, let's start this morning off right, or continue this morning off right with a manifesto on weirdness.
Yes, Krista, you do ask me out, but then when I read my manifesto to you, you said you were not paying attention. So I'll do it again. And I think my sister Alpha is here. Hi, Alpha. Okay, here it is. I turned 40 this week on Tuesday, and this is a big transition for me. And in my work, I talk a lot about female desire, and I have found myself...
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. I have found myself feeling more and more uncomfortable about getting older, and I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel good about my cleavage and proud of my cellulite and like sexy as hell.
Because you are.
Yeah, that was Kiki. You're right, Krista. Yes, fucking hell. But all this like growing older makes me feel a little bit weird. Okay, so I turned 40 and I want to celebrate all of this messiness. I'm interested in messiness, in uncertainty, in ambivalence. I don't want to have the answers. This is why I started thinking about weirdness as a kind of umbrella term to articulate some of those quite difficult things, I think. So, okay, I'm going to read my... beginning of the manifesto. Are you excited, Oriana?
Very excited, and I think our audience is probably very excited as well. They're just a bit slow.
Yeah!
So excited.
I'm half dressed for my gym, half dressed for this. So, I'll have to take off the kimono and then run to the gym after this. Thank you. You're so sexy as hell. Oh, messy, weird, sexy. Thank you. This is Haris from Crete. Haris is amazing. Okay, let's go. So, I write from the realms of the messy, the clumsy, the inconsistent, the vulnerable, the confused, those who have been told they are too much, too loud, too desperate, those who find themselves feeling uncomfortable in their own skin, the restless, sleepless, the unruly. I write for the eccentrics, the runaways, the recluse. I am not here to apologize or explain. I am happy for those who are able to be consistent all the time, who have found a way to answer all questions, who can wear white trousers and not spill all over the place, who look like they have just exited the hairdressing salon. Are you with me, Oriana? Amazing, okay. But I'm also happy for the sloppy, that's me, the chaotic, that's me, the disheveled, that's me, the confused, that's me, the uncertain, that's me, the dissonant, the people that do not make sense no matter how hard they try. Obviously, I cannot speak on behalf of any of you, but I am writing for you, for the furious, the restless, the frantic and the fierce, for the troubled amongst us who have no answers. I am writing about my own confusion and restlessness, my unmet desires and feral dreams, my waywardness. I am writing from this space, this lab or gym or whatever you want to call it, in which I can sometimes be beside myself. In my own gear, I resist fixity, stability, permanence. I can feel seen and unseen, driven by weird, irresolute forces. My weapons are breakage, shattering, fragility, and frivolity. Being a mess and making a mess. My mode of being and thinking and existing is weirdness. For all those weirdos around me, I write this. Welcome!
Here, here. Bravo,
Yeah,
bravo,
thank
bravo.
you.
Wow. Weirdness.
That's it, Oriana, that's it. I can talk more about it. I can just keep talking if you like. I mean,
Oh, yeah, I could use a break. I'll just be here
okay.
listening.
Let me just talk for a bit, and then when you want, you can stop me. How
I
about
can
that?
interject. Okay, great.
Okay,
This is great.
amazing.
This is a treat.
If I can't hear you, just lift a hand up, and I will know, yeah?
Oh, okay.
Okay, can you still see my cleavage?
Yes.
Okay, fab. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I am trying to understand my place in this kind of world, in this messiness, in this world where I'm interested in the kind of thinking of no performance. It's all a rehearsal. I just keep going with kind of not having the answers. I think more generally there is too much knowing in this world, too much certainty. So I'm trying to undo this. I'm kind of interested in the space of weirdness as a space for everyone that wants to embrace restlessness, ambivalence, not knowing, or a process of unknowing or unlearning. I'm actually reading a book by Anne Carson at the moment called Decreation. And I'm really interested in this term, decreation. This term comes from Simone Weil, who was a very interesting kind of anarchist political figure. And Simone Weil was talking about decreation as the kind of undoing of the monster, of the creature inside of us, the undoing of the self. And I want to think about what that means, this kind of undoing. And I think in this undoing, I understand that I'm interested in creating this politics of the weird, where, this is a new space where we can really be who we are and we can channel our kind of troubling feelings, because not everything has an answer. So I'm talking about this idea at the moment of ambivalence, and this is in relationship to motherhood. So I spent 3 years of my life, from my mid-30s until I was about 38, trying to answer this question: do I want to have children? And
Really? Because I thought it really. Well, I know I remember that you like babies a lot, but I just thought it was very clear you didn't want children of your own.
That's actually a very interesting point, because very often I hide that I like babies. I do like little babies. I never say that.
You said it to me because I guess because you met my baby.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't want to insult you, right? Also, I wanted you to like me, Oriana. Come on. I want people to like me, and that's a problem. That's why I'm trying to be an ambassador of weirdness and a scholar of weirdness to write about this, because, of course, I want to belong. I want to fit in, right? I want to have a community. Therefore, sometimes I become other than who I am in order for people to like me. But this is why I'm trying to say, actually, I don't need all of this. I can be who I am. And if they like me, great. If not, then they don't like me.
It's hard to handle that when somebody doesn't like you.
Say again?
It's hard. I find that hard to handle. I'm a people pleaser, and I want people to like me too. So I really identify with what you're saying.
But you know what happens, Oriana? So I'm a certain self with you and you like me, and then you go away, and then I see you in 2 weeks, and then I wonder, who was I with Oriana and she liked me? Like, I have to go back to that place and think, which part of me was I? Yes, my sister says yes. Which part of me was I performing? And then I go and I see my friend Owen, and I'm this other person. And then I go and I'm with my boyfriend Pete, and then, I'm this other person. So I'm just split all over the place, and I can't do that. I can't do that to myself. That's hard. So that's where I'm kind of
that's exactly why I called my podcast Multiple O's, because I feel like there are many sides to myself, and and with each guest a different side comes out. So
exactly.
Yeah.
I love your cleavage. I love your let's do. Should we do that? I love your
I'm very modest, actually. That workshop with you and Orit was literally the only time I've been naked in front of public, in front of a workshop or in the public. That's it.
You like different kinds of exposure, though, right?
Yes, I guess. Yes, I guess. Well, I don't know if I like it, but I am testing myself, I guess, and testing that, can I handle that reaction I feared in that judgment from others? Can I test that out?
How have you found motherhood, Oriana? How has it been for you?
It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. It's been challenging. I've learned about myself, and I think I love my children, and it's a balancing act, I guess. I don't know.
Yes. Did you know you wanted to be a mother? Did you know?
Yes, I did. Always in high school. I don't even, maybe before that, but I had a friend from high school who was adamant she didn't want to have children, but I was sure I wanted them, and then she went and had. I'm talking about the author, poet Jennifer Kronovit, and she was adamant she did not want to have children, but then she had a child, and I think we were in our early 30s, and I was so envious. I wouldn't even hold her baby. I was like,
yes. That's amazing. I mean, that's what I started saying, that I spent 3 years trying to answer that question, because I always thought I will have children. But then in my 30s, I just didn't feel like it. And my parents kept putting pressure on me. And my parents are absolutely wonderful, but they really wanted grandchildren. And they did the same to my sister, Alpha. And
is she the first? Is that why she's Alpha?
No, she's now, we've swapped, actually. I used to be the older, but now she's the older, because we decided to swap positions. It's our dynamic in our family. It requires that we swap positions many times, and nothing to do with incest, just navigating the difficulties of. So, my parents asked me again and again, are you going to have children? And you know what? Just because I like dick doesn't mean I should have children. I heard you talk about dick with another artist, so I assumed I can say the word, right?
I said I'm making it a point to have dick, and as much as possible, as much dick as possible.
Do you think that artist's dick was like that big in real life?
Glenn Pudvine? I don't know, but I as I said to him, when I saw that image of him, I thought, is he flattering himself in his paintings? And then I saw the actual picture of him, and I thought, no, he's not flattering himself, like in terms of his physique. He hardly puts any pictures of his face. He's quite attractive, face and body, but in a conventional way, I should say. But I obviously don't have any knowledge of the actual organ.
I was wondering, because that seems like he needs a crane to carry it wherever he goes, right?
It must weigh on him like that, metaphorically, if nothing else.
I mean, I don't generally like too big penis.
No. Yeah. It's not. I think.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
really
not for everyone.
But exactly. That's what I'm saying. Just because I like dick doesn't mean I should, have children. And I think if there are any people with dicks out there and you don't want children, the best thing you can do is vasectomy. vasectomy, because
That is good,
being on
yeah.
being on the pill is awful.
Sucks.
Having to go through that process, your hormones are, really up and down all the time. Anyway, so I was.
So how did you
saying that-
handle the pressure from your parents? Like, did you
Well,
confront them about it?
I proposed that they give me some time, and I figure it out, and then I said, why don't you adopt a little grandchild? And then I said, oh, here, the neighbor has a grandchild, why don't you play with the grandchild? Then I said, why don't you have a pet? Anyway, they got really tired of my suggestions. The thing is, that was an actual question of mine. And I realized after 3 years of making performances about it that I cannot know more than I know right now. I cannot know whether in a month or a year or 3 years I will want to have children. But right now, I'm happy where I am. And that's it. And for me, the problem is not that people are having children. The problem is that, just because I'm a cisgendered woman who likes dick, I'm supposed to have one. Yeah, and that's not the case. So that's it. I made my students yesterday shout, and I'd like to invite you. This is a kind invitation, creative invitation, Oriana, to shout "lawlessness" simultaneously for about 10 times. Do you want to do it? It's my favorite.
Okay,
word.
lawlessness.
Yeah. Lawlessness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you have to do like this as well. Is that all right? 10 times, yeah? Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Lawlessness! 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 3. Lawlessness! 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 6. Lawlessness! 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 Thank you. This is my self-care routine. I do that every time I'm feeling a little, down.
What is it about the law that makes you want to go without them? Surely that would be kind of difficult to live without any laws.
I know, but there are so many laws that we are meant to follow. And I'm not that interested. Like when I started working in the university, I spent 100 quid on TK Maxx buying like clothes for a lecturer. What is that thing? I don't know what clothes for a lecturer means. I just bought like some grown-up shit, because I thought I should be serious. And also I practice my neutral face, neutral. Why? Why do I don't let people understand if you are sad or no? That's exactly the opposite from what I'm doing now. Now every time in my classroom I say I'm pissed, I'm sad, I'm confused. And that's the only weapon I have, transparency. But these are the kind of rules that I try to make away with. And it's very hard. As a woman, I've been told so many times by lovers, you're too much. You like sex too much. What does that mean? What does that mean? In fact, I will
complaint, I would think.
Huh?
That seems like an unusual complaint from men. They're supposed to be the ones who want it all the time.
This is Greek men. Okay, I'm telling you. I will disclose the name of one of my lovers who is a big shit and he should apologize. His name is Dimitris Papadogiannakolakakakis.
Okay, well, I can't spell that.
If you are listening, Dimitris Papadogiannakolakakis, then don't tell me I'm too much just because I like dick, all right? There you go. So, yeah, I just think, what is that? I'm too much. I'm too loud. That's good. People can hear me. Yeah. Very, very clearly. That's more.
It's so funny because I don't know if you know this, but I've interviewed the shy radical Hamza Hassan, and he is an advocate for introverts and shy people and quiet people. And he says he said in the podcast, so no one ever complain, because he thinks we have the extrovert supremacy, and shy people are made to conform that and overcome conform to that and overcome their shyness.
Yes.
And he's like, no one is ever given a hard time for being too too loud. And I was like, I said I didn't think that was true. And I asked my dad, who's a psychologist, if that was, children's psychologist actually. And he said, there are some conditions, he gets all psychology-y with it. But anyway, yeah, case in point, you have been too loud or too much or accused of that. And so it is possible. Like there's it's a spectrum. And if you're at the extremes of either end, it's not normative. I think what you're using lawlessness, where I would say normlessness, maybe, but that's kind of a weird word.
What
like
do you mean?
Lawlessness, like law to me means like legal rules, and norms. I think is more what you're talking about.
Yes, but I think law is anything that I find.
But no, they're interchangeable in some sense. I'm just being like it's semantics. Let's ignore that comment.
I like semantics too. I have no problem with semantics.
I know.
I think, yes, I'm just interested in, this excessive, extravagant, unyarded, unencompassable desire. And these are the kinds of things I'm working with. I'm reading, what am I reading at the moment? I'm reading Wild Things by Jack Halberstam, and he talks about wildness. And although wildness has a history connected to colonialism, he says, that the wild is not a place you can go, but it's kind of difficult to define, but it opens up a space for us to be who we are, to be, uncertain and unstable and inconsistent and so on. I'm reading this book by Claire Hemmings called Considering Emma Goldman. And Emma Goldman is this kind of anarchist thinker that was writing a lot about reproductive freedom and equality and so on. And Emma Goldman has a lot of tension in her work around race, sexuality, gender. And so this author, Claire Hemmings, says, actually, let's keep that ambivalence. Let's keep that tension. Let's not try to resolve it. Because if we try to resolve it, then we don't see what might generate out of it. So this is what I'm interested in. I'm interested in kind of thinking about what can be generated out of tension, messiness, uncertainty. How can we see ourselves through that kind of lens? I'm also reading this beautiful book by...
so this is like Eirini Kartsaki's book club.
Book club, okay. I want to say that everyone needs to read this book. It's Sadiya Hartman, Wayward Life's Beautiful Experiments. And Sadiya Hartman is writing about women of color in the kind of beginning of the 20th century, moving to the city, to New York, to find better lives. And they are criminalized, they are persecuted because they want to live free. And so she calls that waywardness. And she says that waywardness actually is that desire to live free. She says it's really interesting to think about what it means to be in captivity and then to kind of try to move beyond it. So she writes, waywardness articulates the paradox of cramped creation, the entanglement of escape and confinement, fight and captivity. Wayward is to wander, to be unmoored, adrift, rumbling, roving, cruising, strolling, and seeking. To be lost to the world, it is the practice of the social otherwise. And I am so excited by that space. Of course, I cannot compare my experience to those women of color in the beginning of the century in New York. Yeah, I have a very, very different experience, and I totally acknowledge that. But then there is something here about the shared space of being other than we are perceived by this world. And sometimes the way we are perceived by this world, even if it is connected to privilege, is not freedom. And I guess that's what I had to say. Lawlessness.
That is a brilliant point. And I wish I had a follow-up question. No, but I have a different question. I'm distracted by my other question, but I want to follow up on what you said. But my question was this: it was about like you brought up Jack Halberstam, and I want to talk about like queerness. You know, you're talking about weirdness. What about queerness? I'm going back to semantics again. Like, I think, or the great Orit Asheri once said, I was an honorary queer. I like want to have a plaque that says that.
Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I think of you as kind of queer, actually. Maybe like, I'm wondering about like, like a promiscuous woman. It feels weird to call that because it
I am
sounds like
promiscuous.
derogatory.
Totally.
Yeah, I know it sounds derogatory, but I don't mean it that way because it's just.
Oh my God, I love it. It's a compliment, Oriana.
Okay, great. So, yeah, but is a promiscuous heterosexual woman I don't know. Can you identify as queer?
Heterosexual, yeah.
Is that okay?
Well, okay. So
because you were talking, and maybe there's a link actually to what you're saying because you were talking about the difference in experience and recognizing and respecting that, and yeah,
of course,
we can identify with and empathize with other people with different experiences. It's really essential.
Yeah, so there are different experiences in terms of, gender, race, sexuality, ability, and so on. And I think we need to be more and more aware of that in the way that we relate to one another, in how we speak, in how we make our work accessible to others, and so on. I would say in terms of queerness, I'm big queer ally. I have had queer experiences. I loved it, but I don't think I am queer to the extent that I have felt any of the kind of oppressions that my queer friends have experienced. So I don't want to take up that space because I understand that my experience is very different. So the way I engage with this is I talk about, I think about women that date men, and I'm thinking about weird women that date men, like Kathy Acker, like Chris Kraus, like Narcissister, like Kembra Fowler, like Julia Bardsley, like Marissa Karneski, right? And I'm working with Marissa actually on a book publication.
She just told me that.
Yeah, we're waiting to hear back from the publisher. And in that book, I'm going to write a chapter on radical heterosexuality. And I want to think about how all these women artists who date men are far from straight. Yeah, I love dick, but I don't necessarily identify as straight. Or if I do, then I don't feel comfortable within that heteronormative discourse. And this is my very clear stance here, that I'm uncomfortable within the heteronormative discourse. And that's where weirdness comes in. So this is my way of saying, I want to belong, but I don't want to belong in the category that my parents would put me in. Yeah. And that is like a straight girl that is going to get married, have children, whatever, and have a good life. That's not what gives me happiness. That's not exciting. I'm not interested in values like permanence or stability. And sometimes, these are good things, right? I understand from this particular moment in time, the kind of fear of financial precarity, and so many of our friends are in a financially precarious place. But I'm talking about values in terms of, how we choose to live our lives more generally. How's that, Oriana?
Epic.
Should we show some cleavage and say goodbye? Is that a good?
Is it time to go to the gym?
Yeah,
it's time to go to the gym. Are you sure?
Okay, I wanted to do this thing with a picture. Should we pretend that we are kissing on the the red line?
Wait, we have to hold it for.
Yeah.
But can I just ask one last question?
Yeah,
which is about your sister. So has the pressure passed on to her? To
My sister is amazing. She is based in Berlin. She's an artist. She's changed her name, and she's writing a book about her experience. The pressure was passed on to her, and we have this kind of routine where we say, "Mom called me the other day. Mom called you the other day. She said she wants a grandchild, the grandchild, the grandchild, the grandchild, the grandchild, the grandchild." But I don't want to have children. I don't want to have children. We do a little like sketch. And what was the end? I can't remember. Alpha, do you remember the end? I don't want to have children. I don't remember. Anyway, something
And then
like
the
that.
one other question is, do you have friends? Oh, obviously, I mean, I assume, do you have friends with children, and are there tensions somehow, or has your relationship changed with women who have friends who've had children, or I don't know, something about that? Can you say something about the dynamic between
Yes.
childless women and women with children?
Yes, I'll tell you. Actually, I'll tell you the end. I remembered it. But Mom said, call your sister, make up your mind which one of you is going to have a baby. That's the ending. And that's a real story. That actually happened. My mom said, call your sister, make up your mind which one of you. So we had to kind of negotiate. None of us has a child. We don't want it. Yes, I do have friends with children. And very often my friends, so I'm thinking about my friends, Daniel Oliver, who you interviewed. I'm thinking about Ella Feiner, my good friend. I'm thinking about other people who have children. You know, my friends with children also don't lead that kind of normative life. Yeah, so I also think that not all people with children lead normative lives. My friend Mary Patterson, for instance, she did a presentation a few years ago in a round table that I organized, and her proposition was so incredible. She said, have children, but have them publicly, share them with one another in a community, don't have them privately, you know, share your children, and also the labor of having not the labor, you know, the kind of that would be fantastic, the kind of, you know, work that takes to bring up a child. So I thought that proposition was fantastic. So quite a lot of my friends with children actually don't live the kinds of lives that I think when I think of normative families.
So that reduces any kind of potential tension, or I don't know.
There is always a little tension. There is always, I think,
there
a little
is.
tension.
What is that tension about, though? It's weird. Why is there tension?
Because I think I have constructed this identity for myself. And, you know, with my manifesto, No More Children, that people sometimes feel a little uncomfortable to talk about their children around me. But actually, I like some children and I love babies. But I
started to doubt whether that was true when you said, I told you that, and you know I want to be liked.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I say it and it's true, sometimes it's not, right? Again, ambivalence. I can inhabit both of those positions at once. I don't have to either like babies or not like babies, right? Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't, and it's the same with children. But I guess my point is that where does the tension come from? I think it's that idea that perhaps one of us is missing out. So if I don't have children, right, I'm missing out on not having children. Maybe my friends that have children feel they're missing out on a life that you know, is like mine, and they're missing out on all this I don't know, promiscuous adventures. Although I'm in a relationship
and autonomy and freedom.
Yeah, exactly, independence. But I want to say I'm in a relationship at the moment. So if you want to ask me out, sorry. You can still flirt, though. I can still flirt, but because every time
you missed the boat. You could have had a chance because you could have been on the Do It All dating game when Eirini was a contestant, and she came up with brilliant questions such as, if I were a boiler, how many times a day would you turn me on?
Is that what I said?
That was one of your questions. One of the most brilliant questions.
Fantastic.
But I just want to say, you know, you used to sing to me a song every time you saw me, a song about my name.
I forgot. Which song was
a song about my name. I think it was in Greek. and it was about like being jealous or go off with another man because I love you so much. I can't live, I don't know. You can go off and be with another man. Anyway, never mind.
Oh, I see. Yes, yes. Can't
You
remember.
remember?
I can't remember anymore. Sorry,
Oh.
Oriana. I'm so inconsistent. I love it.
And the other thing is, I have a song that might be one that could be like your soundtrack. Or if you were ever on the actual O show, we would play this song when you come on. But unfortunately, I can't seem to find I wanted to play it as you leave, but I can't find it. Anyway, I'll try to sing it. It's from Nashville, the movie by Robert Altman. And it's a country and western song, obviously. And it goes, I'll never get enough. I'll never get enough of the love I'm hungry for. I'll never get enough. I'll never get enough. Always want more and more. Even if we stay together my whole lifetime through. I'll never get enough. I'll never get enough. I'll never get enough of you.
Amazing. Amazing.
That was my singing in my performance debut.
It's beautiful. I'm reading the comments and they're really, really fantastic. Krista is saying about Liz Rosenfeld, talking about this, calling it permanence or forever as a kind of normative violence. I think that's really, really lovely. Hi, Alex.
Yes, because also some people have children and they and very tragically those children don't outlive them, and so even being a parent doesn't. I mean, obviously one is still a parent even if they have a lost child. But anyway, nothing is permanent.
No permanence, no more. Hi, Alex. No more permanence, no more rules, no more rules. Too much knowing. Yeah, let's go. No more children. Let's go. Lawlessness.
Lawlessness. Lawlessness. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for watching. Love you. Bye, Oriana. Thank you.
So that's the end of the interview with Eirini Kartsaki. I hope you enjoyed it. I found it very fulfilling. I love it when she says the only weapon she has is transparency. I just think that's really wonderful and so fitting for the O show and its ethos. And yeah, so that's a good note to end on.
Next time on Multiple O's. Next time on Multiple
O's, we're continuing this series of provocative women performance artists. I'll be airing my interview with the expert showwoman Marissa Karneski. So that's something to look forward to next time on Multiple O's.
Next time on Multiple O's. Next time on Multiple O's.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for continuing to listen. Thanks for getting to this point in this episode to hear me say, I hope you will accept yourselves unconditionally, your lives, and other people, because we're all just fallible human beings.